Hello everyone, this is BJZ here again for another tutorial. This is Ropes Course, the fourth level of the first world. This beginning, I fucking hate this beginning. I'm just gonna say this right now. It's fast, but all the tricks that are used in it, there's two tricks specifically that I'm about to show. They're inconsistent. In a real speed run, they're not a huge deal. If you miss them, it'll waste a second or two. But when I was trying to record this, I needed to get this. All in one run. I tried my best to get this all in one run, so I reset here constantly. It was frustrating. But anyways, yeah, fuck this beating. You see. So yeah, I start off with YBY, and the spin jump right after YBY is picky because you have to squeeze through this enemy and this rope. You want to go right in between here. It's more easier to overshoot than undershoot. You usually don't hit this enemy. Alright, so yeah, after the YBY, when I hit these stilts, according to Ish, I asked him, he told me stilts. If he's wrong, then you can blame him. When you hit through these stilts, you can do a double spin. So I do a double spin through. During the double spin, I jump right around where the ramp starts, the slope starts, with a full hop. And then it allows me to squeeze through. Alright, so this is the trick I'm talking about. This is the first one. It's not exactly frame perfect. There's a few frames where you can get this off, but you have to get a water dash off right as soon as you land. It's sort of similar to when you ground pound into the water and then spin, but that is easier. That was easier. When I showed that last time, in the end of the last level, that was a lot easier. This isn't the ground pound. This is actually a completely different kind of trick that has a similar kind of results where you get massive speed by landing in water. So yeah, when you just jump into water and then spin right as you land into it, you get a massive speed boost, but only when you do it right as you land into it, within a few frames, a free frame window. If you do it too early, you just do an air attack, and it'll feel like he's doing nothing, because when he does an air attack and then lands in the water, his animation gets cancelled. It's frustrating. So yeah, make sure you get the spin right as you enter the water, pretty much. And up here is the seconds kind of inconsistent trick. It's more inconsistent because it's easier to manage the inputs, but it still feels inconsistent sometimes for whatever reason. So you see I kind of just swim up casually towards him, and that's because I don't want to attack too early. If I attack too early, I won't be able to do this trick, because if I do this trick now, I'm just going to slam into him, because I'm not going to be able to destroy his stilts. They're going to be in the way. So I have to wait until I reach the stilts, and then I'm going to attack and then do the trick. And that trick is that. It's exiting the water at full speed. It's basically a reverse of what you just saw beforehand. It's more consistent, but it's still kind of hard to execute, which is why I still call it inconsistent. So what you do is spin, and as soon as you impact these stilts, you want to let go of the right direction on the analog stick or D-pad, and you just want to hold up, or flick to the upwards direction as quickly as you possibly can, and that will allow Glowbox to exit the water at the speed he was going at when he dashed in the water, which gives him a nice speed boost. That's hard to execute, and if you don't get that in the run, that's not a huge deal. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I got that all on recording, and that was kind of frustrating. Constantly trying to reset here. So yeah, this Murfy section, you don't want to go too fast here, because if you spin as soon as you gain control of Glowbox, you're just going to slam into the spikes. Because it takes time for Murfy to listen to you. It takes time for that thing to fall down, and it also bounces when it lands. So you see it bounces there. That's still, when it bounces up, it's gonna get in your way when you spin. So yeah, don't spin. Do not spin. Anyway, yeah, you don't want to go too fast here. Again, Murfy is gonna be kind of slow. Generally, he is kind of slow in this level. Like, there's another section coming up that I wish he was faster at doing, but he's just so slow that I'm forced to go slower, and that's irritating. I'll show you when that comes up. You want to make sure you get a roll jump off near the edge here. You land near the top of this hill, and you don't want to land too far up. I'll show you why in a second, but you want to land about here and do a spin, not quite at the top, but a little bit before you reach the top, and you do a roll jump. And those claw hands will not attack you as long as you're high enough, even though you're kind of basically going through them. But if you're too low, they will instantly grab you. So if I were to roll jump even lower than this, those hands or claws would instantly grab me and damage me, and that would just be slower because you're taking a hit. Make sure you roll jump relatively high, but you also want to make sure you do it near the end of the slopes, so you have a chance to gain speed from the spin. And of course, the air attack stalls you a little bit longer, so you can actually reach the ledge. So yeah, this is the part I'm talking about. Again, Murfy is just so slow. I have a reason to show my input viewer. There's a few things I want to show with my inputs, and with this level specifically, I want to make sure that was visible. So you see I'm pressing that Murfy button, I'm mashing that. He doesn't listen to me until here, at this input. I press it, and now he listens. But the input before, he wasn't listening. There's no clear indicator, really. There's a subtle indicator, he starts moving up, but that's kind of hard to look out for when you're trying to just move through the level quickly. So that's kind of hard to see. Murfy does not reach this section very quickly. You have to get really close, and that forces you to navigate the section kind of clumsily. You see, I have to move back and make sure I don't hit that spike that's bouncing back up when it hits the floor. It's possible to make it through without slowing down, but it's kind of hard, and yeah, you're likely not to get it in a run unless you know the exact timing, which it's hard to understand what the timing's like. There's no clear indication anywhere. Alright, so the TNC is under this section. Make sure you hit the Murfy button as soon as possible. You want to make sure you have the opportunity to do a ground pound into the water, like this, to allow you to get a speed boost. Again, this is the more consistent way to get speed when you enter the water, by ground pounding into it. So yeah, when you ground pound, you're going to go deep into water, as well as gaining a lot of horizontal speed. So that allows you to position yourself in a way that you can easily grab this TNC, with a lot of speed as well. And again, we have another one of these water boosts where you exit the water by dashing and immediately pressing up. It's the same exact thing we did in the intro of the level. But this time we don't have an enemy to really be concerned about. You can still do it with or without an enemy to hit. You can do it at any point. We just had to delay our dash out of the water at the beginning of the level because the enemy would have blocked us. This section's a bit hard to navigate, mostly because you have to manage Murfy as well as your movements, and you constantly have to, if you want to do this optimally, you constantly have to do spin jumps and pressing Murfy buttons at the same time. It's hard. I don't do that here perfectly, but optimally you want to do spin jumps and pressing Murfy at the same time all the time. But that's hard. Yeah, I could have spun jump on this platform here to here, but I didn't because I was managing Murfy at the time, and it's hard. Also, you saw I was going inside the claw here. As soon as Murfy attacks them, which is basically as soon as you press the button, they don't have a hitbox anymore. They are passive once Murfy hits. It was actually pretty close here. That was way too close, to be honest. Anyways, all right. I do a roll jump here to reach this TNC, but you also have the option to use Murfy to cut the rope, but I tend to gravitate towards not using Murfy when I don't have to, because he's just a pain for me to manage when I'm trying to do movement as well. So I choose not to use Murfy to cut the rope, because I can just reach it with a roll jump. But if you use Murfy to cut the rope, it is technically faster because you're not in the air for as long, and you're able to reach the ground sooner to spin jump again and gain full speed. So here you want to make sure you roll jump over this chain line here, and once you are about to touch the chain again, due to gravity, you want to stall yourself in the air again, because like I said before in, I believe, Creepy Castle, when you touch a chain link like this, your speed is capped. So you want to make sure you avoid it for as long as you can, and conserve as much speed as you can by avoiding it. Again, I'll make sure you have the Murfy button ready to go to cut that as soon as possible. The longer you delay it, the more you just delay yourself by waiting. So yeah, make sure you press Murfy button as soon as you can. I don't spin here because I would just spin into spikes. Mashing the Murfy button as fast as you can, just running towards them is good enough. Going in much faster than that, you just run into a spiky shield. So here is where things get a little bit fancy looking. I'll just show it off. That there, again, is a YBY up. I showed this in Creepy Castle, and we're using it again here. It's the same exact inputs. All you have to do is press attack, attack, jump, while holding the upright direction, and then you just go flying in the air. That's the fastest way to navigate this section, while grabbing that TNC. Okay, nothing too fancy here. By the way, you can ground pound on this. it's good to ground pound on it because you won't. If you don't ground pound on this, you'll be spending more time just going vertical down without having any horizontal speed. So it's best to ground pound on this and immediately start moving right as soon as you can. Okay, nothing too fancy. Again, make sure you have the Murphy button ready there. I don't spin jump here, by the way. I don't do spin jumps, and that's because doing normal spin jumps off of this incline here is slower because you're going up a slope. But doing YBY jumps is actually faster because you're not in the air for as long. And I also don't spin jump up to that ledge. I just do normal jump. Alright. The optimal movement here is to never really hover. If you're new at this, you might find yourself hovering a bit in this section, but the best way to do this section is to not hover at all at any point. And also, for this spin here, if you hold left and only left, and not holding up or down in any way, you're likely to not reach this Team C. And for whatever reason, if you just hold left completely, and only left, no up or down input in any way, you're just gonna get too low. Reasoning behind that is kind of weird. I'm not gonna go too into it. So what I do here is on my analog stick, I'm kind of doing an input like this, where this is the left input, and I'm angling up slightly, so that I get a slight vertical boost when I dash off a ledge. It's kind of a weird thing how this game works. If you're holding a direction, like a diagonal up or diagonal down direction, when you dash off of a ledge, you're gonna gain either downwards momentum or upwards momentum, depending on the direction you're holding the analog stick or D-pad. Of course, having the analog stick is advantageous because you have more control of the angles you have. This applies to YBY ups as well, that I've explained before. Analog input gives you more options, while the D-pad you only have digital input, so you only get 45 degrees up or down, or 90 degrees for left and right. And yeah, it's digital input, you don't have as much control. Moving on. Okay, so here, this is our first break boost of the run that I will be showing you guys. I haven't made a specific video for break boosting as well. Again, I should probably get to that, but I do have a video explaining like the frame data of break boosting and how it works. I can link that in the description. That's what I do have right now. But it doesn't explain necessarily how to do the execution, but that's kind of what I do here. I ground pound. You have to make sure I'm facing towards the right side. I run in place for a bit, and then I press right, and I run right for 1 frame. This is optimal. I don't think I did this here, but this is the optimal break boosting input. You hold right, you run right for 1 frame, and then you dash. And then you let go of your analog stick or D-pad. You don't touch it, and then you should get a break boost. But you have to run in place for at least 6 frames. So yeah, there's your frame data, and you can get a break boost off of that. And by break boosting, you see when you exit the dash here, Glowbox goes into a braking animation. And his braking animation looks kind of silly, but if you're Rayman, his braking animation actually looks more like a brake. That's where the name comes from, because they're braking. So it's B-R-A-K-E, not B-R-E-A-K. I can tell you that because I'm the one that found this trick and named it. I'm the ultimate player of this. Anyways, moving on. Alright, but unfortunately, this brake boost kind of sucked. I was going kind of slow. So if you're going full speed, going at max speed for brake boosting, you would be able to clear this without doing a flutter here. But I had to do a flutter because my brake boost kind of sucks. So again, since I'm already falling down and you reach terminal velocity very quickly, you don't need to do a ground pound because that would be slower because you start yourself in the air. I went over this before, and again, do not ground pound here if you're already falling when you haven't reached the opening. I started falling about here, and I was going pretty fast once I reached the opening. So yeah, I don't need to ground pound. And you can just spin off and grab the chain. You don't have to do any fancy jumps. Just make sure you have the Murphy button ready, like always. So again, this is a bit fancy. This is another YBY, but it's a variant of it that doesn't require hitting an enemy. Actually, let me show this first. Let me show what happens here. That's what I do. And you see when I do the YBY, it's the same exact kind of deal you would expect, like how I've shown you with the enemies. You spin while getting a lot of vertical height. So, when you do this ground pound on the floor, a thing you need to know about this game is that this game buffers inputs quite generously. So during this entire ground pound animation that's going on here, you're buffering the YYB inputs, or the attack jump inputs, while holding upright. It's the same exact thing. So you ground pound, and then do attack jump while holding upright. And technically you're pressing attack 3 times, because the first attack is holding down doing the ground pound itself, but the attack jump is its own thing. And this corner jump is kind of like at the end of Creepy Castle I showed. You can just do a corner jump off of a ledge. So yeah, this is generally faster than controlling Murfy here, and it's also a way around Murfy, which I always love. You could just full jump over that ring here, but be careful about your spacing. If you spin jump and jump too early, you're going to grab the chain. If you do it too late, you're going to grab the chain. So make sure you practice the spacing here. Do a spin jump. I do it pretty late. Not too late, but it's not an early jump out of the spin. This part is a little tricky as well, because you're managing Murfy as well as controlling your movement. What I do here is mash Murfy, of course, but I also do a YBY down this cliff. And that's the easiest way to jump down this cliff while retaining all of your speed, and also it will prevent you from grabbing this ledge, because if you do a normal jump, it's a lot easier to end up grabbing this ledge, and you don't want that. You want to go down here. Alright, so in this section, just to optimize your Murfy management, all you have to do is press Murfy twice here, and you don't have to press Murfy at all for this guy. You can just jump over this guy completely. So I want you guys to pay attention to this jump sequence I'm about to do here. It's not the only way to do it, but just make sure you do it like this. It's spacing I prefer to use. It's spacing that allows me to jump over this guy, and as well as get a roll jump at a perfect spot where I can start falling immediately. So again, I don't ground pound because I'm already falling at a decent speed, like that. So yeah, that's my spacing there. So this section here, so again, we are ignoring Murfy here, and we're just going to jump up this log. The best way to do this, the consistent way to do this, is ground pound right in front of the log, and do a straight vertical jump, and wait until you're starting to get close to your apex of the jump, and then hold towards the right, and then cliff grab. And once you cliff grab, you don't want to spin to the left immediately. You want to rock to or run to the right for a few frames, and then do a spin jump to the left. Otherwise, if you do a spin jump to the left too early, you're just going to spin off the platform, and you won't be able to jump. Like that. And once you reach this platform, you ground pound, jump on the rope, and then just wall jump up here. So my wall jump spacing is, all of them are full jump wall jumps, and there's one in there that's a small wall jump, and that will allow me to jump up to this ledge without overshooting it too much. So once you cliff grab and climb up, you want to do just 2 YBYs. It's important to get the spacing right, otherwise you're just going to run into this, and you're just going to go to a complete stop if you don't do this correctly. So yeah, to do 2 YBYs and spin through this. Simple as that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. That is Ropes Course for you. So this is the first Murfy level where I genuinely have a lot of problems with Murfy. Like, I really don't enjoy using Murfy a lot, especially on this level. It's not because it's necessarily hard, it's because he gets in the way a lot, and it's frustrating. But yeah, that's kind of what this level is kind of all about, is just managing Murfy inputs as well as your inputs as well. This is the first level that's like that. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something. As you can see up there, earlier in this video, there was someone here earlier. I'm not sure if they're still here now. But I do know that guy personally. I don't know him in person, I just know the guy. But yeah, this chat was being used. Yay. But yeah, I do live stream these recording sessions. I live streamed the actual playing of the level, the recording you saw. I was playing through it on live stream, and I was recording it through live stream. You can check me out on twitch.tv/DJTHED. You can check me out there. I tend to start streaming around 4:30 p.m.-ish. That tends to be where I start to stream, but it's not set in stone. I might stream later or earlier, who knows, but that 4:30 would be a safe bet to catch me at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Again, if you do catch one of my streams, you have the opportunity to ask me questions through the chat if you have questions about what I'm saying. So yeah, that's it. I hope I see you guys next time. I believe Quicksand is next, and that is an auto-scroller. That will be a doozy. That will be a doozy.